everyone, and I am here this evening to talk to you about stress. If you're watching, let me know you're here, give me a wave, let me know you can hear me okay. Stress, which impacts, I would say, almost all of us on a pretty much daily basis. I mean, as an example, this evening, I teach a class at 8 o'clock and I left at the normal time. So there's a degree of sort of, I suppose, anxiety because I have to make sure that my husband is in to look after the children for me to go and teach. So it's always a bit, is he going to get back from London in time on the train? So, you know, I suppose a low level of anxiety there. This evening I left at the same time, and it's literally round the corner. It's a dance studio in a sports centre that is in the grounds of a high school. Hi, Jackie. And I left on time, and for some reason, the traffic was unbelievable. So I'm sitting in this traffic that is not moving because it's gridlock. No one can get past. I think there must have been a parents' evening at the school, something else going on, the football started again. It was chaos. And I sat in the car for 10 minutes watching the clock tick. It got to 8:03. I'm still sitting in the car. My class starts at 8 o'clock. And at that point, knowing I was going to be talking about stress this evening, I thought, I feel really, really stressed. You know, I imagine, you know, we've all been there, sitting in cars, cursing at people. And that was tempting at the time. But then I thought, actually, there's nothing I can do about this. Not least the fact that probably most of my clients are also in this queue. So I'm not going to be the only one that's going to be late. But that was an example of a potentially very stressful situation where you're under time constraints and you're going to be late. People are relying on you. In my case, people are paying me to turn up and teach them. So, you know, we all go through these times of stress. And stress can have an impact on us physically and also emotionally. And what is important for us to know is when we are going through these times of stress, that the impact that is having. Because I think once we're empowered and we have more knowledge about these things, we're more inclined or more likely to try and do something about it, to make positive steps to change things. Otherwise, we're just, you know, on a treadmill, we're just going from one thing to the next, feeling stressed or not really knowing what's happening to our body while that's happening. And there was a survey done, and I think I told you about this in my email earlier today. There was a survey done last year by the Mental Health Foundation. And that showed that something like, I think it was 74% of people, were overwhelmed or felt unable to cope with daily life due to stress. And a massive 81% of women had described themselves like that compared to 67% of men. And yet, you know, it's a generalization, but I think generally women, from my experience, seem to be a little bit more stressed than men. I think we juggle so much. We juggle work, we juggle the house, we juggle the children, we juggle school admin. We juggle 100 different things, our parents, our siblings. We've a lot of responsibility and we are carers. So we're constantly rushing around trying to please people and do the right thing for everyone. So it doesn't surprise me to see those statistics, but there are lots of different reasons for getting stressed. There's the situation that I just described to you now of my slight stress this evening, although I thought I dealt with it very well. I don't always. And, you know, so those daily stressful situations that we find ourselves in, or there are other situations, you know, the loss of a loved one, the loss of a job, you know, an argument with your spouse, a close friend, all of these things that have a longer lasting effect. You know, if you're stuck in a traffic jam and you're cursing and you feel your blood pressure going and you're stressed, you know, once you get to your destination, you're not stressed anymore. So there are other situations where the stress kind of stays at a quite high level for a more prolonged period of time, which can lead to chronic stress. So there's lots of different reasons. Long-term ill health is another one. Debt, Comparing yourself to other people, and us women do that. We have comparisonitis, not helped by social media, by Instagram in particular, seeing these perfect lives, or at least they appear to be perfect lives. It's people's show reels at the end of the day. Social media, most people tend to put their holidays on there, the time where they had a perfect day out with their child. We all know that we don't have those times all the time. But for some reason, our brain doesn't connect with that when we're scrolling through social media and we see all these amazing pictures. Why isn't my life like that? Why don't I go on these nice holidays? Why this? Why that? And so the comparison with other people causes us stress. And also for us women, the rush, the constant racing around from one thing to the other. And I think this has got worse and worse over the years, but we have a kind of rush mentality. I certainly do. I am by no means perfect. I find myself in the morning using time a lot. So saying to my children, we're going to be late. Put your shoes on, for like the 84th time. Put your shoes on. We're running out of time. We're going to be late. Hurry up. Come on. All of these things are all about rush, rush, rush. And I think, I probably cause my children a bit of stress by doing that. I have tried getting them ready earlier. It doesn't work. But all of these little things, we all have different levels of stress. We all have different things going on in our lives, which all contribute towards stress. And as I say, it has an impact on our physical and emotional well-being. When we get stressed, our body releases a hormone called cortisol. That's the stress hormone. And that hormone, along with adrenaline and things, is the hormone that triggers that kind of fight or flight response. So stress does serve us well. There's a reason we have it, because in an emergency situation, which is what it's designed for, we are told by our body, by our system, to run away, so the flight, or stay and fight. And that does serve us well in those emergency situations. However, if we are in a situation where that stress response is being called on several times a day, day after day after day after day, that has an adverse effect on our body. So it can cause a number of different things. It can cause our breath to quicken. So we start to shallow breathe, which then makes us even more stressed. It doesn't help our nervous system when the breath is shallow like that. That is another indication to our body that we're in a stressful situation. So the cortisol levels just keep going up. Our heart rate will start to quicken as well. So the heart rate starts to pound. And muscles tense because you're ready for action. It's the fight, flight response. So the body is preparing you very well to save you in an emergency situation. But if that keeps happening, as I say, on a daily basis, then other things start to happen as well. You might experience headaches. You might get the tension coming up the neck because the muscles are so tight. The shoulders get tight, the neck gets tight, it comes up into the back of the head and comes over and creates tension. Those headaches are debilitating. I know because I have suffered with them. Much like a migraine, it can knock you out for a few days. It can make you feel very, very poorly. So headaches is one thing. Depression. Some people can, through chronic stress, the daily stress, if those cortisol levels are constantly high, start to feel very, very low. And it can lead to depression as well. Heartburn, it has an effect on our digestive system. So when we get stressed, the body's response is to release acid into the stomach, which can then start to cause heartburn, which is a very physical, all these are very physical signs that the body is in a high state of stress. It can cause insomnia. And, either it's stopping you from going to sleep because you're worrying and the stress is, you do not have a calm mind, or you manage to get to sleep and you wake in the night and then are unable to get back to sleep. And of course, if you then get insomnia, then you have a lack of sleep, and it just is a snowball effect, because then the lack of sleep increases the anxiety levels, which contribute towards the stress. So insomnia, is another really horrible side effect of stress. Stress can also weaken the immune system. So you're sending signals to the body. The body's under a lot of strain, and so you're more prone to getting infections, cold viruses, which again are going to make you feel low, make you feel depressed, and they don't help with your sleep either. So all these physical effects can be quite debilitating. In terms of emotional effects, we can feel anxious, we can feel emotional, again, depressed, headaches, insomnia, irritable, really irritable, no patience with anyone, the slightest thing, you just fly off the handle. It can also cause cravings for sugary sweets, treats, maybe salty things, and carbs. So often, we're eating the wrong thing, we're not sleeping, we're starting to feel really, really rubbish. Cortisol also, because it stimulates this fight or flight response, means that when the cortisol levels are high, the body actually retains weight. So it retains weight predominantly around your midsection because the body is trying to preserve you, it's trying to save you. So it's holding on to everything for dear life. So if the cortisol levels are high, then, that might be a reason if you're struggling to, lose those extra pounds, particularly around midsection, or you're piling them on. And there's other reasons why that happens in terms of age and our changing hormones, etc. But that is a contributing factor, is slight weight gain. So what do we do about all this? It's one thing recognizing that we're stressed, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. Hi, Rachel, so stressed at the moment with so many things. Yeah. It's not always just one thing. It can be one thing that's causing you kind of daily stress that's in the back of your mind, that is something you need to resolve, an argument you've had with someone, daily stress in the car, as I've just explained. Lots of different factors contribute. But it is important to notice when we start experiencing symptoms or side effects of stress. So headaches, as I say, it can affect your digestive system. You can start to miss periods. It can really mess with your hormones. It can affect your fertility. It can also cause low sex drive. So lots of different things. None of us want any of that. So what can we do about it? What can we actually change? We can't, to a degree, you can change your lifestyle. You can decide, okay, so next week I will be leaving 10 minutes earlier if I can, so that I don't end up being late to teach my class, because clearly there's something going on at that school on a Monday evening now. So I'm going to have to leave 20 minutes before my class starts, and I literally live around the corner, rather than 10 minutes before. So I can take those steps to reduce the stress levels. But it's, whilst you can make changes and adapt to certain situations, it's not always possible. So what can we do on a more regular basis to try and bring the stress levels down a little bit? Well, when we get stressed, it does affect the nervous system. And the autonomic nervous system is the nervous system that is responsible for that fight or flight response. And that nervous system is not one that we can control with our conscious mind. So how do we do that? How do we help the ANS, as it's called, to come back to a state of calm? The absolute best way of doing this is with the breath. So if you can take deep breaths several times throughout the day, and this can be done, while you're waiting for your child to come out of a class. It can be done in the car if you're stuck in a traffic jam. It can be done first thing in the morning when you wake. Just taking deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth can calm the mind. It really, really helps to bring that ANS system back to a calm state and reduce the cortisol levels. There have been many, many studies on it. So scientifically, breathing is a really great thing to do. And actually, the next time you feel stressed, I challenge you to this next. So tomorrow, if you're in a stressful situation, then just pay attention to your breathing. And I bet the breath has gone shallow. So you're shallow breathing. If you're yawning throughout your day, you're shallow breathing. That's your body's sign that it needs to take in more oxygen. So if you're shallow breathing, take some deep breaths. Take 5 deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, and see what happens to your body. See how it makes you feel. Obviously, exercise, again, is a really great way to relieve stress. It, creates great endorphins for the body, a feel-good factor. If you're exercising in a class, you're with other people, which can help you come out of that stress state sometimes, just having a chat with friends. So if you're not able to go to classes to work out, or you're not doing any of the ballet workouts with me, going for a walk with a friend, so instead of going for that glass of wine in the evening, which is very tempting when you're stressed, to reach for the wine first thing, as soon as the kids have gone to bed, the wine comes out. Why not go for a walk? Why not say, actually, I'm going to take this time, I'm going to call up a friend and suggest we just go for a walk, have a chat. And just the exercise, the fresh air, the talking to your friend really, really helps. So exercise is another fantastic way to reduce stress levels. So absolutely, you should be moving more. Helping your sleep. So tidying up your sleep practices a little bit, because the less sleep you get, the more anxious you're going to be. It has a snowball effect. So really trying to think, what's the best way I can get 8 hours sleep a night? Inevitably, that will mean going to bed earlier. So set an alarm when you want to go to bed. Set that alarm when it goes off. Don't then go and load or empty the dishwasher, put a load of washing in the dryer, and do all the other things that we do before we go to bed. It can wait till the next day. Your sleep is so much more important. We're all guilty of it. I was terrible at it up until about 12 months ago. And now I'm much better. So I go to bed quite early. Normally I would be in bed by now, and I get up at 6. And so it doesn't always work. My son was in several times last night. He's not very well. So, but at least you're setting up yourself up for the best possible night's sleep. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but life's not perfect. But try and get that sleep in. The other absolutely fantastic way of helping with stress is meditation. And this is not something I have done in my life up until very recently. I remember my mother doing it when I was a child, but I never really understood it. So I just was aware that she would go and sit in a room for 20 minutes and meditate, and that was her thing that she did every day. And it really, really helped her. It really, really helps. If you are not sure how to do it, you've never done it, you're not sure you'd be able to clear your head, try an app like Headspace. Lots of my clients use that. We do have meditation videos inside my membership, inside Backstage, and we also have breathing videos to help breath work. But meditation is really, really important. Somewhere between 5 and 20 minutes per session. Headspace, I know, has kind of 1 to 3 minute meditations as well if you're just starting out. But I would suggest somewhere between 5 and 20 minutes. It does take practice. If you've got a busy mind, like I do, you have to train your mind much as you would train your body if you were working out and doing a new workout. So try meditation and have a look at Headspace if you're new to meditation. If not, then pick it back up again and try doing that. It's only 5 minutes out of your day. Just stop the rush. Take 5 minutes to do that rather than scroll through Facebook, and see how that works for you. But it's an absolutely fantastic way to bring the body back to calm. So yesterday, I went into London on a rare occasion with my husband, without the children, and I went to see Joanna Lumley in Conversation at the theatre. I absolutely adore her. She's bonkers, but she is absolutely lovely. And it was so interesting listening. She was being interviewed by Giles Brandreth, who's very funny. But it was very interesting listening to her life and how calm she is, the way she describes things is very unique. She's a really interesting person. But she was asked, one of the questions he asked her towards the end of this interview was, what is your secret? What makes you so amazing? What makes you you? And she thought for a minute and she said, throughout my life, through times of struggle, through times of stress, and we all have it, she said, my one and only sort of motto, the thing that she tells herself all the time, is to be kind and be grateful. So have gratitude. And I thought it was a really, really, I mean, we've heard it all before, but just the way that she talked about it, she was saying, you know, it can be hard to be kind sometimes, because a lot of the times we're resentful for things that we agree to do. But trying to be kind to people all the time makes you feel good. And makes that person feel good. And then it has a knock-on effect. It makes everyone feel good. So being kind to people and feeling gratitude, you know, she was saying, if you don't have all the things that you want, if you don't have enough food, be thankful for the food you do have. Be grateful for the people who are in your lives. If you don't feel like you have enough friends, be grateful for the friends you do have. Be grateful for your family and what you do have. So focusing on the kindness, focusing on the gratitude, and smiling. She said, always smile, just smile at everyone. And she said, even if you're sitting in the car in a traffic jam and someone is trying to get out, she said, let them out. If someone cuts you up in the car, smile at them. Just don't get agitated by the very little things in life that just don't matter. So I thought I would just share that with you. She's so lovely. And yeah, that's her mantra. That's what she says in all situations. Just smile, be kind, and be grateful. So I hope that's helped. And if any of you have got any comments, any things that that you would want to share that you find has helped you with stress levels. Jackie, you've got Addison's disease, which means my body doesn't produce cortisol. I have to take hydrocortisone daily and I have to adapt my medication in stressful situations. That's really interesting. So other than the medication, Jackie, are there any methods that you found that have really helped you with those situations? I don't know if Jackie is one of our members. Have you tried the meditations, Jackie, and the breathing exercises? I'd love to know. But if any of you have got any other comments that you'd like to share, things that you use, techniques that you use, or if you are not currently using techniques, try some of the ones I've just mentioned and let us know how that helps you. But we're all in it together. We all, you know, have stressful days. Some days are better than others. But if we can be more mindful of when those situations are happening, just stop, count to 3, figure out what's happening with my body. Yeah, shallow breathing, my heart's racing a little bit. I feel angry, I feel anxious, I feel irritable. Just take a few breaths, calm it down, and figure out a way of removing yourself, if you can, from that situation. All right, everyone, I hope that was helpful, and I'll be back next week to have another chat with you. Have a wonderful week, and I will speak to you soon. Okay, bye.